Online classes. Today we are going to discuss a new topic that is called RMS value or virtual value of alternating current. RMS value or virtual value of alternating current. In the last class we completed the average value of the AC current, the average value of the AC current for one complete cycle. So to calculate the average value of the AC current, we use the formula. So F average is equal to integral T1 to T2 f of t dt by integral T1 to T2 dt. So to calculate the average value of any one of the function, we use the formula f average is equal to integral limits from T1 to T2 f of t dt by integral T1 to T2 dt. So by using this formula, yesterday we calculated the average value of the AC current for the complete loop. That is the limits from 0 to capital T. So there you got average value is equal to 0. And what is the need of RMS current means? In the case of the AC circuits, whatever the current you measured, that value is nothing but RMS value of AC current. Once again, what is the need of the RMS current means? In most of the cases, whatever the current we are measuring in the AC circuit, that current value is nothing but RMS value only. That is not the peak value. Yesterday we told two different currents. One is instantaneous current, and another one is the peak value of the current. So the general expression for the instantaneous current is given by I is equal to I naught sin omega t. I is equal to what? I naught sin omega t. So here the instantaneous current will be represented by the sinusoidal function or by the sine function. We know the limits of the sine function. The maximum value will be is equal to what? +1, and the minimum value is equal to what? -1. That means the sine values will be varies in between +1 to -1. That means the sine function may be positive or may be negative. If the sine function value will be maybe positive or maybe negative, means ultimately the instantaneous value I also either may be positive or may be negative. So here the instantaneous current value will always may be positive or may be negative. Why it is a positive or a negative means the instantaneous current will be represented in the form of a sine function. The limits of the sine function will be +1 to -1. That's why the instantaneous current value may be positive or may be negative. Suppose I took the term I square. What is the I square? I is indicating what? Instantaneous current. I is equal to I naught sin omega t. So if you took the I square means this value is equal to what? I naught square sin square omega t. If you took the term I square, that is the square of the instantaneous current. I square is equal to I naught square into sin square omega t. So whatever the value you choose for either I naught or sin omega t, because of square, this entire term will be always positive. The entire term of I square is always what? Positive, because the sin limit is what? +or -1. Suppose if you took sin omega t value is equal to -1 whole square is equal to what? +1. So that ultimately the square of the instantaneous current is always positive. Here I is refers to what? Instantaneous current at a particular time interval. If you are changing the time interval values, you are getting different instantaneous currents. So the average value of all the instantaneous currents, I am writing like this. So that is I1 square plus I2 square plus and so on plus in square by n. So this is giving what? I average square. So that is what? The average value of squares of the average value of squares of the instantaneous current will be taken as I average square is equal to I1 square plus I2 square plus and so on up to In square by n. Suppose whatever the expression you wrote here, for this if you took the square root, that means the square root of I average square, the square root of I average square is equal to under root of I1 square plus I2 square plus and so on In square by n. So this expression is indicating what? This expression is indicating the square root of average value of the square root of average values of squares of the instantaneous currents. Once again, it is giving what? Square root of average of squares of the instantaneous current. That value is nothing but IRMS. So how can we define the IRMS? Means it is the square root of average of squares of all the instantaneous currents. So how can we define the RMS current? Means it is the square root of average of squares of all the instantaneous current that will be defined as IRMS. So this is a definition of the IRMS current. Once again, so if you took the instantaneous current, what is the general expression for the instantaneous current? The general expression for the instantaneous current is equal to what? I is equal to I naught sin omega t. So the value of the instantaneous current is changes with respect to the sine function. If the sine function will be taking the positive values, the instantaneous current will be also what? Positive. If the sine function will be taking the negative values, the instantaneous current is also what? Negative. That's why we told the instantaneous current value may be positive or may be negative. So for that, what I consider here? I consider the square of the instantaneous current. The square of the instantaneous current will be represented by I square. That value is equal to what? I naught square into sin square omega t. So here I naught is the magnitude, maximum value of the current. When you are making the square, the entire term will be positive and sine function may be plus 1 or minus 1. So the limits of the sine function is what? Plus or minus 1. Whenever you are taking the square of the sine function, the sin square omega t term is always what? Positive. So that when you take the square for the instantaneous current, that square is always positive. Now what I consider here? I am taking the average of squares of the instantaneous current. What I taken here? I took the average of squares of the instantaneous current. How can you get a different instantaneous current? At a different time intervals, you are getting the different instantaneous current. At T1, I took the instantaneous current I1. At T2, I took the instantaneous current I2 and so on up to In by n. So this value will be giving the average of squares of the instantaneous current. So that only we wrote. Now for this equation, let it be equation number 2. So for the equation number 2, what we taken here? We took the square root. So the square root of I average square is equal to what? Under root of I1 square plus I2 square plus and so on In square by n. So from the equation 3, this term will be nothing but IRMS. So how can we define the IRMS? Means it is the square root of average of squares of all the instantaneous current, that current will be calling as RMS value of AC current. RMS value of AC current. So this is the definition of the RMS value of AC current. Now we are going to derive the expression for the formula for the RMS value of AC current. RMS value of AC current. We are going to calculate the expression for the IRMS. So what we wrote previously, we took the average value of squares of the instantaneous current. So first I will calculate the average value of I square terms. So I want to calculate what? The average value of I squares. So to calculate the average value of any one of the function, we have the general formula. What is that general formula? F average is equal to integral limits from t1 to t2 f of t dt by integral t1 to t2 dt. So to calculate the average value of any one of the function, yesterday we wrote one formula, that is that f average is equal to integral t1 to t2 f of t dt by integral t1 to t2 dt. So here, whose average value we are going to calculate? We are going to calculate the average value of squares of the instantaneous current. So you know that the general formula for I is what? I is equal to, you know the general formula, I naught sin omega t. So the square value becomes to what? I square is equal to I naught square into sin square omega t. I naught square into what? Sin square omega t. Now I want to calculate the average value of I square. See here, from the given formula, so F average means what here? I square average. So here, according to the given formula, the average value of I square term, is equal to integral. So according to the given formula, F average is equal to integral t1 to t2 f of t dt. So in the place of f of t, what you wrote here? I square. Therefore, I square average is equal to, in the place of f of t, what value will be there here? I square term will be there. I square average is equal to integral. So we have to calculate the average value for the one complete cycle. I square average is equal to, here we are going to calculate the average value for one complete cycle, so that the limits will be taken from 0 to capital T. So I square of t into dt by integral 0 to capital T dt. So according to the given formula, we substitute the values. I square average is equal to integral 0 to capital T. In the place of f of t, I square function will be there. So I wrote I square of function t into dt by integral 0 to capital T dt. So we substitute the values here. Integral 0 to capital T. I square value is equal to what? I naught square into sin square omega t dt by integral dt value is equal to what? Small t, limits from 0 to capital T. So here I square term will be the constant, that is I naught square. If you substitute the limits, you are getting what? Capital T. Integral 0 to capital T sin square omega t dt. So here we have to write the formula for sin square theta. So the formula for the sin square theta is equal to 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2. The formula for the sin square theta is equal to what? 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2. Similarly, we will write sin square omega t is equal to 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. So the value of sin square omega t is equal to what? From the basic trigonometric formula, sin square omega t is equal to what? 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. Now we have to substitute this value in the above equation. So I square average is equal to so integral 0 to capital T. The first term is what? I naught square by capital T, integral 0 to capital T. Sin square omega t value is equal to what? 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. I am writing that value only. 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2 into dt. So here 2 will be constant, I will write outside. So this value becomes to what? I naught square by 2t. I am separating the integration. So for the first part is a what? Integral 0 to capital T. Here 1 will be there, here dt will be there. 1 into dt minus again integral 0 to capital T cos 2 omega t into dt. So what you got the value? I naught square by 2t. Integral 0 to capital T dt minus integral 0 to capital T cos 2 omega t dt. Yesterday we wrote the average value of sine function for one complete cycle is equal to 0. Similarly, the average value of a cos function also for one complete loop is equal to what? 0. So the average value of either sine function or the average value of either a cos function value will be is equal to what? 0. So the average symbol will be represented like this. The average value of either sine function or cosine function for one complete cycle will be is equal to 0, so that this complete term value is equal to what? 0. Because the average value of either sine function or cosine function is equal to 0. That's why this integral part value will be is equal to what? 0. Now what left here? I naught square by 2t. Integral dt means what? Small t. And if you apply the limits, you will get t minus 0. Here I naught square by 2t into this value is equal to t. This t value will be getting cancelled. Finally you got I naught square by 2. What is this? I square of average. So by the definition of the RMS current is the square root of average of this value. So that IRMS is equal to square root of I square average. I square average value is equal to what? I naught square by 2. Therefore, it is under the square root of I naught square by 2. So therefore, what we get here means, so IRMS value is equal to finally you are getting IRMS value is equal to what? Finally we are getting I naught by root 2. So like this we have to calculate RMS value of alternating current. RMS value of the alternating current formula very important. IRMS is equal to what? I naught by root 2. Here what is the I naught means? I naught is the peak value of alternating current. So I naught is representing what? I naught is representing the peak value of alternating current. Suppose you know the instantaneous EMF value. E is indicating what? Capital E is indicating what? Instantaneous value of EMF that is applied to the AC circuit. If you know the instantaneous EMF value, how can you calculate the RMS value of the EMF? Means according to the same process you have to calculate the RMS value of the AC EMF. So that ERMS is equal to ERMS is denoting what? RMS value of alternating EMF. So here ERMS is denoting what? ERMS is denoting the RMS value of alternating EMF. So, according to the previous formula we derived, ERMS is equal to what the value? ERMS is equal to E naught by root 2. ERMS is equal to what? E naught by root 2. What is the main importance of these values means, already I told, whatever the current you measured in the AC circuit, that value is nothing but RMS values. So in the numericals, whatever the values they mentioned, either the value may be current value or EMF value, those values are nothing but RMS values only. Suppose if any one of the value they specified, that value is nothing but RMS value only. Suppose if you took any one of the AC circuit, in the last class I told we are applying a source of EMF. So what is the applied voltage for the AC circuit? It is maybe 230 volt they mentioned. In a given numerical, they told that AC voltage of 230 volt will be applied to the given circuit. This 230 volt is indicating what? This 230 volt is nothing but RMS value of alternating EMF. That means whatever the values they specified, those values are nothing but RMS values only. Suppose in the given circuit, you connected one ammeter. What is the purpose of the ammeter? The purpose of the ammeter means it will be reads the current that should be flowing in the given circuit. Whatever the reading that was given by the ammeter, that reading will be is nothing but RMS value of the alternating current. So from this what we have to understood, whatever the applied voltages in the given circuit by the source of EMF, or whatever the values those are read by the ammeter, those are connected in the AC circuit, they will always giving the RMS values only. We don't consider those as peak values. Generally, common mistake what we are doing is those 230 volt or that current value will be taking as peak value. That is the mistake. So the measured values is always nothing but RMS values. So this is the main purpose of measuring the either EMF or current value in terms of the RMS values. Next topic is power in AC circuits. In generally, whenever a particular amount of current is passing through the resistor, some energy will be dropped across the resistor, or we are saying that some power will be, electrical power will be consumed by the electrical appliances. So in the case of the DC circuits, the power consumption will be given by power consumed will be given by power DC is equal to PDC, means the power consumed in the DC circuits will be given by, it is simply the product of the voltage and the current. So the power consumed in the DC circuit will be represented by PDC is equal to V into I, where V is indicating what? Applied voltage through the given battery, and I is indicating the particular amount of the DC current that should be flowing through the given resistor. So by using this formula, we have to calculate the amount of the power that is consumed by the given electrical appliances. But in the case of the AC circuits, the applied EMF or the applied voltage as well as the alternating current should not be in the same phase. That is, between the EMF and the alternating current, some phase angle will be existing. So that in the case of the power in the AC circuits, so we defined the power in the AC circuits is equal to, it is a product of the EMF, and the component of the current, the component of AC alternating current which is in phase with the which is in phase with the voltage, which is in phase with the voltage. So the power in the AC circuits will be defined as it is a product of the applied AC EMF, and the component of the alternating current, which is in phase with the voltage or which is in phase with the EMF. Like that we have to define the power in the AC circuits. Once again, how can we define the power in the AC circuit? Means it is defined as the product of, so I will write the definition. The power in AC circuits is defined as the product of alternating EMF and the component of alternating current, which is in phase with the alternating EMF, is called as power in AC circuits. So how can we define the power in the AC circuits? Means it is defined as the product of the alternating EMF and the component of the alternating current which is in phase with the alternating EMF. So here the formula for the power in the AC circuits is equal to, here we are writing EMF will be represented by capital E. So when you write the capital E, means that a capital E denotes the instantaneous value of EMF. So here we are writing that the power in the AC circuits is equal to E into the component of the alternating current, which is in phase with the EMF is nothing but I cos phi. So what is the I cos phi here? The component of the alternating current which is in phase with the alternating EMF. So this expression is giving the power consumption in the alternating circuits. So here the cos phi term, this cos phi term will be calling as power factor. So here cos phi will be calling as a what? Power factor. So very important definition it is. So what is the power factor? Means the cos phi will be indicating what? Power factor. And what is the phi here? So here phi is phase angle. Phi is a what? Phase angle between alternating EMF and alternating current. So what is the phi indicates here? The phi is denoting the phase angle which is existing between the alternating current and alternating EMF. So this is the definition of what? Power in the AC circuits. So in the coming topics of a pure resistor, a pure inductor and a pure capacitor, we are going to calculate two different powers. One of the power is called what? Instantaneous power, and the other power is what? Average power. So instantaneous power. So how can we define the instantaneous power? Means simply it is the product of instantaneous EMF and instantaneous alternating current. So how can we define the instantaneous power? Instantaneous power will be defined as P instantaneous is equal to it is the product of instantaneous alternating EMF and instantaneous alternating current. Instantaneous alternating current. Their product will be simply we are calling as instantaneous power. Already we know the expression for the instantaneous EMF. What is the expression for the instantaneous EMF? The expression for the instantaneous EMF is a what? E naught sin omega t. E naught sin omega t. And instantaneous current is a what? So here I am taking I naught sin omega t plus phi. I naught sin omega t plus phi. Why? Here we assume there is some phase angle will be existing between the EMF as well as the current. That's why I took the phase angle between the EMF and the current will be as phi radian, so that I instantaneous can be written as I naught into sin of omega t plus phi. So therefore I will simplify as E naught into I naught sin omega t into sin omega t plus phi. Sin omega t plus phi. So this equation will be giving the instantaneous power in the AC circuits. Instantaneous power in the AC. Average power. Average power. So already we discussed to find the average value of any one of the function. To find the average value of any one of the function, we have to apply one formula. F average is equal to integral T1 to T2 F of t dt by integral T1 to T2 dt. So here also just now we wrote instantaneous power is equal to, what is the formula for the instantaneous power? We wrote here P instantaneous is equal to E naught into Y naught sin omega t into sin of omega t plus phi. So let it be equation number 1. So the equation number 1 is giving what? Instantaneous power value. Instantaneous power value. Now if you want to calculate the average power value, you have to apply the integration for this instantaneous power. So this instantaneous power also to be written as, I have to represent with a P of t. Since the power is a function of a time, that's why the instantaneous power will be represented by P of t. That value is equal to again E naught I naught sin omega t into sin of omega t plus phi. Sin of omega t plus phi. Now I want to calculate the average power, means P average. So P average will be giving what? Average power. According to the given formula, we have to write integral T1 to T2 P of t into dt by integral T1 to T2 dt. So by using this formula, P average is equal to integral limits from T1 to T2. So which function you are taken? Instantaneous power. So that P of t into dt by integral T1 to T2 dt. So here what are the limits? We are going to calculate the average power value for one complete cycle. So for one complete cycle, the limits T1 to T2 becomes to what? 0 to capital T. For one complete cycle, the limits will be taken as what? 0 to capital T. So therefore, P average value for the one complete cycle is equal to integral 0 to capital T E naught I naught sin omega t into sin of omega t plus phi into dt by integral 0 to capital T dt. Simply we substitute the value of P of t. So that is E naught I naught sin omega t into sin of omega t plus phi into dt by integral 0 to capital T dt. If you simplify this integration part, here sin omega t will be there, sin of a plus b will be there. So sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. Like that, if you simplify, you get the final value will be E naught I naught by 2 into cos phi. E naught I naught by 2 into cos phi. If you simplify this integration entire part, the final result for the P average is equal to what? E naught I naught by 2 into cos phi. The same equation I am writing as E naught by root 2 I naught by root 2 into cos phi. 2 can be written as root 2 into root 2. So I wrote here E naught by root 2 into I naught by root 2 into cos phi. So here E naught by root 2 is indicating what? Already you wrote ERMS value. So E naught by root 2 value is nothing but ERMS. I naught by root 2 value is what? IRMS into cos phi. So this is the final result for what? Average power in the AC circuit for one complete cycle. So the direct formula what we have to remember, the average power consumption in the AC circuit for one complete cycle is equal to P average is equal to either E naught I naught by 2 into cos phi, or in terms of the RMS value ERMS into IRMS into cos phi. ERMS into IRMS into cos phi. So this is the expression for the average power consumption in the case of the AC circuits. The next topic is the phasors and phasor diagrams. So what is these phasors and how can we define these phasors, and what is the advantages of the phasor diagrams? Means while solving the numericals, these phasor diagrams are more useful. So here if you consider any one of the AC circuit, already previously we told the either EMF values or current values will be varies sinusoidally with respect to the time. So I am assuming the alternating EMF applied to any one of the circuit will be taken as the alternating EMF which is applied to any one of the circuit will be taken as E is equal to E naught sin omega t. Since we are discussing the alternating current, so in the case of the alternating current, the EMF value will be sinusoidally changes with respect to the time, so that I took the applied EMF to the AC circuit will be as E is equal to E naught sin omega t. Whenever you applied the alternating value of EMF to any one of the circuit, the corresponding current you are getting is nothing but alternating current, and already we mentioned that there is some phase angle will be existing between the EMF as well as the current, so that the alternating current will be represented as I is equal to I naught sin omega t plus phi. So what we consider here? We consider that the applied EMF to the AC circuit as E is equal to E naught sin omega t, and I is equal to what? I naught sin omega t plus phi. So here what is E naught comma I naught here? E naught comma I naught are indicating the peak values. E naught comma I naught are indicating what? Peak values of the EMF as well as the current. And what are E comma I represents? E comma I are representing the instantaneous values. So E naught comma I naught are representing what? Peak values of the applied EMF as well as alternating current. E comma I are representing what? Instantaneous values of the EMF as well as the alternating current. Now how can we define the term phasor? See here, whenever you consider either the EMF or current values, these EMF or current values will be changes sinusoidally. These EMF or current values will be changes sinusoidally with respect to the time. So that if any one of the physical quantity will be changes, sinusoidally with respect to the time, then they will be represented as projections of a rotating vector. Such type of physical quantities we are calling as a what? Phasor. Once again, if any one of the physical quantities varies sinusoidally with respect to the time, such type of physical quantities will be represented as the projections of the rotating vector. Projections of the rotating vector. Such quantities we are calling as a what? Phasors. See the definition. If any physical quantity varies sinusoidally with the time, they will be represented as projections of a rotating vector, are called as phasors. So how can we define the phasor here? So if any one of the physical quantity will be varies sinusoidally with respect to that time, they will be represented as projections of a rotating vector. Such a type of physical quantities we are calling as a what? Phasor. And what is the phasor diagram? So the diagram which is consisting of alternating EMF as well as alternating current with some phase angle, such a type of diagram we are calling as phasor diagram. Once again, how can we define the phasor diagram? The diagram which is consisting of or which includes alternating EMF as well as alternating current with some phase angle, such a type of diagram we are calling as phasor diagram. See the definition of phasor diagram. The diagram which includes alternating EMF and alternating current, with some phase angle between them, is called as phasor diagram. So what is the definition of the phasor? Phasor is any one of the physical quantity which is a various sinusoidally with respect to that time, then it can be represented as the projection of the rotating vector. Such a type of physical quantities we are calling as a what? Phasors. And the diagram which is consisting of alternating EMF and alternating current as the rotating vectors, and it is also consisting of some phase angle between them. Such a type of diagram we are calling as a what? Phasor diagram. Now we will see the explanation of phasor diagrams. Now see here, this diagram is indicating what? This diagram is indicating the phasor diagram. This diagram is indicating what? Phasor diagram. So already we told what is the phasor? The physical quantity which is a very sinusoidally with respect to that time. Then it is represented as the projections of the rotating vector. So here I consider two rotating vectors OA bar comma OB bar R. Two rotating vectors. So what are the rotating vectors I consider here? So OA bar comma OB bar are the two rotating vectors, and these two rotating vectors will be rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. These two vectors will be rotating in which direction? Anti-clockwise direction with a constant angular velocity. So here omega is indicating what? Omega is indicating the constant angular velocity of rotating vectors OA bar comma OB bar respectively. So here to represent the phasor diagram, I consider the two rotating vectors. Those two rotating vectors will be taken as OA bar comma OB bar, and omega is indicating what? While these vectors will be rotating in the anti-clockwise direction, they will be having particular amount of angular velocity, so that omega will be indicating the constant angular velocity of the two rotating vectors. Now, from the definition of the phasor, so what is the phasor? It is the projection of rotating vectors, projections of the rotating vectors. So if you look at the diagram, the magnitude of OA bar is equal to, the magnitude of OA bar is equal to what? E naught. The magnitude of OA bar is equal to what? E naught. And the magnitude of OB bar is equal to, the magnitude of OB bar is equal to what? I naught. Now, for the rotating vector OA bar, I have to draw the projection onto the y-axis, So here, this dotted line is indicating the projection of the OA bar, onto the y-axis. So that from the diagram, OM is indicating what? Projection of the rotating vector OA bar, projection of the rotating vector OA bar along the y-axis. So that OM is indicating what? Projection of rotating vector OA bar along the y-axis. This projection only we are calling as a what? Phasor. That a phasor is nothing but the physical quantity which will be varies sinusoidally. Therefore, from the definition of phasor, OM will be equal to instantaneous value of EMF. OM is equal to what? Instantaneous value of EMF. So therefore, OM is equal to capital A, that value is equal to E naught sin omega t. That value is equal to what? E naught sin omega t. Like this, similarly, the projection of OB bar is equal to ON. The projection of OB bar is equal to what? ON, which is represented again along the y-axis. So ON is indicating what? Projection of rotating vector OB bar. So ON will be indicating what? ON will be the projection of the rotating vector OB bar, which was represented along the y-axis again. So ON is equal to what? ON is nothing but instantaneous value of alternating current. ON is nothing but what? Instantaneous value of alternating current. Therefore, I is equal to I naught sin omega t plus phi. What is the phi here? See, from the given diagram, there is some phase angle will be existing between the two rotating vectors. OA is the one rotating vector and OB bar is the another rotating vector. Between these two rotating vectors, some phase angle will be there. That a phase angle will be represented by phi. So which is giving the phase angle between the instantaneous current as well as instantaneous EMF. Like this, we have to explain the phasor and the phasor diagram. The general representation for the phasor diagram is, say, while we are drawing the phasor diagram, keep in mind always we are fixing the direction of the instantaneous EMF must be along the x-axis only. Once again, while you are drawing the phasor diagram, EMF value must be taken along the x-axis only. So here I am taking the EMF value will be along the x-axis. And for the EMF to the current, there is some phase angle will be there, so that the alternating current will be represented by I. The alternating current will be represented by I, and between the EMF and the current, some phase angle will be there. So I represent the phase angle phi, which is existing between the EMF as well as the current. So this is the simplest way to represent the phasor diagram. So keep in mind, EMF value direction I always fix along the x-axis, and regarding the value of the phi, we represent the direction of the alternating current. So this is the concept of phasor and phasor diagrams. Thank you.